Greetings and salutations and welcome to Nostalgia. Now, usually this is the time of the month that I'd be doing a treasure hunt video. If you haven't tuned in before, treasure hunt is basically where we show off what we found for the month from places like charity shops, car boot sales, Facebook Marketplace. As you can see, I collect quite a lot. But anybody that's been paying attention to our Facebook page, if you don't have us on Facebook, go find Nostalgia on Facebook and join us. Anybody that's been paying attention, we've been renovating the house at the moment, and that means a lot of my figures, Funko Pops, collectibles have gone into the attic. I've had to send a lot off to my fellow YouTubers where I know they'll be appreciated. Some have gone to charity shops, so I've just kept the stuff that means the most to me. And as I'm doing this, I thought, screw it, why not share with you guys some of my favorite collectibles, some of my favorite finds on Treasure Hunt. Now, first thing I want to point out is this is not going to be expensive stuff. Now, I have a full-time job. I work 48 hours a week. My wife works. We have disposable income, but we also have, a house, 2 kids. We've got a car. We're not flush, okay? A lot of the stuff we get is from things like Comic Cons, charity shops, car boots. So yeah, you're not going to see anything ludicrously expensive on this episode. This is stuff that means the world to me, my favourites that I have found and that people have given to me. So yeah, set your expectations, don't expect too much. But yeah, first thing I wanted to kick off with is Star Wars. I've got a whole Star Wars section just over here that you guys will never see because it would mean turning the camera around on this office/bedroom, which is a shithole. So you'll never actually see my Star Wars collection. But yeah, let's show off a bit of Star Wars stuff, starting off with my Darth Maul. Now, this thing is badass. Episode 1 is my Star Wars film. I'm 39. I forgot how old I was because I turned 39 last week. So yeah, I'm 39. So I was too young to have seen the original trilogy in the cinema. So episode 1 was my Star Wars. So yeah, I got the Darth Maul Tomy Darth Maul figure from Star Wars Episode 1 from 1999. Like I said, I got this at a local Comic-Con and I adore it. It's still in box, but the box isn't perfect. As you can see, it's seen better days, but it is 25 plus years old. So yeah, I had to show off my Darth Maul. I love Star Wars. I've got a massive Star Wars collection of Funko Pops and figures and all sorts over there. Speaking of Star Wars, I got my Wicket, and don't know if you can see it, but I got Warwick Davis to sign it. Now, I've got quite a few signed things from when we go to Comic-Cons, but I want to talk to you about Warwick Davis. We went to Manchester Comic-Con, and, I've met a load of people at Comic-Cons, and your big ones, your Star Wars, your Buffy the Vampire Slayers, your Star Treks, they are always so busy. You pretty much queue up, you get your thing signed, you move on because they've got such a queue out the door all day. And this was the first Comic-Con I ever took my daughter to. She would have been 4 or 5 at the time, and she was dressed as Princess Leia. She had a little R2-D2 tucked under her arm, and we queued up to get my Wicket signed by Warwick Davis. And he literally saw my daughter. He jumped down off his seat. He's a little fella, so he jumped down off his seat, came round, spoke to us, took the time to tell my daughter how great she looked as Princess Leia and how much he loved Princess Leia, because obviously Princess Leia and Wicket have that lovely relationship. And not only did he sign my Funko Pop, but he took the time to take a picture with us and chat to us. That's what I love about Comic-Cons. And I get it, people are busy. But the fact that Warwick Davis took the time to come chat to us and have his picture with us and make my daughter feel... My daughter didn't know he's Wicket, he's Harry Potter, what else is he in? Not in Legend, what's the other one? What's the one he's in with Val Kilmer? Begins with a W. Anyway, yeah, but he's in all these different films, but my daughter doesn't know that. For him, she just knows him as this nice man that came over and told her how nice she looked as Princess Leia. So yeah, thank you to Warwick Davis, not only for signing my Wicket, which was a big deal to me, but for taking the time to talk to my daughter. A lot of this stuff is Funko Pops. I'm going to actually go to the signed stuff first. Because another person that I bump into, I've got quite a bit of signed stuff. But I want to show off these because Mark Silk. Now, not everybody's going to know who Mark Silk is, but he does a load of voices on TV shows for the UK. So when shows like Johnny Bravo, Scooby-Doo, loads of Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, shows that I grew up on, Obviously, they have individual individual adverts for things like CBBC, CITV, SMTV. So Mark does the voiceovers, but he does all these voices perfectly. You know, you wouldn't know Johnny Bravo, the original Johnny Bravo, from Mark Scooby-Doo. He is an artist, but I bump into Mark Silk at a million Comic Cons. He seems to be at all the local ones I go to, you know, Stoke-on-Trent, Manchester, Birmingham, North Wales. And I swear to God, this man, Mark Silk, add him on Facebook. If you get a chance to meet him at a Comic Con, please do, because he is the nicest man in the world, and nothing is too much for him. I actually got my Johnny Bravo signed by him by the first time I ever met him, and he literally spoke to me for 15 minutes straight about how much he loves working with Cartoon Network and how much he loves Johnny Bravo. And then this one, my Scooby-Doo, actually, my daughter ran up behind my back, got a Scooby-Doo Funko Pop and got him to sign it as well. She didn't know I already had my Johnny Bravo signed. But these two mean the world to me, because every time I've paid to meet Mark and get my stuff signed, but no matter how many times I go to a Comic-Con, if I see Mark Silk is there, I'm going to go see him, because he's just the nicest man in the world. He'll talk to you about cartoons and animation and voiceover work all day long. I mean, don't take up too much of his time if there's a queue. But yeah, nicest guy in the world. I'm going to keep on with the Funko Pops. This one means the world to me. Like I said, I don't know if it's common, if it's uncommon, but this was a wedding present off my wife to me on our wedding day. I love Pixar. I don't know if you see, I'm covered in Pixar tattoos. You know, thanks to them, there's Mike Wazowski. We've got Woody on the back here. Pixar means the world to me. I love Pixar. And my wife got me Elle and Carl for our wedding day. And this isn't actually on display here. I keep this somewhere special for me, where I know it'll stay safe, and I know, you know, I love it. So yeah, this one just means a lot to me. The fact that my wife got it for me on our wedding day. Obviously, Up is the most emotional film ever. I actually got my wife the grape soda pin, and she got me Ellie and Carl. So yeah, that one just means a lot to me, the Up ones. Now, Wizard of Oz is my favourite film of all time. It's a film I watched with my mother, and as you can see, a little bit of my Wizard of Oz display is up here. I've got the original VHS, I've got collectible glasses, I've got figures. My in-laws, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, my wife's parents, they do car boots every Sunday, picking up, you know, material and things like that. And one day they came home, oh, Jed likes Wizard of Oz, doesn't he? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I do. Oh, we put you up a couple of Wizard of Oz figures. And I was like, oh, great, you know, what did you get from the car boot? And they got the Wizard of Oz Funko Pops. Now, this means the world to me. I love Wizard of Oz. I have a little collection. It's my favourite film. I adore it. My daughter is called Dorothy because of Wizard of Oz. It means that much to me. What I didn't realise was my in-laws paid a couple of quid, probably £2 or £3 for these Funko Pops. Now, I don't collect things for monetary value. I collect things I love. That's what today is all about. As you can see, I've got Doctor Who, I've got Batman, He-Man, Ghostbusters, Simpsons. I only collect stuff I love. It's not about the money. It's not about reselling. It never has been. Somebody mentioned to me that these are worth a lot of money. Now, I don't put my Funko Pops in pop protectors. I really don't. I should do, especially the ones that I care about a lot more. But these are in Funko Pop protectors, because I actually had a quick look at how much these original Wizard of Oz Funko Pops are worth. And they're worth a bit more than the £2 or £3 my in-laws paid for them at the car boot. I'm sorry to the person that my father-in-law and mother-in-law bought them from at the car boot. They obviously ripped you off. But yeah, I have never actually looked at the full value of them because I will never sell them. You know, like I said, I've got disposable income. Me and the kids go to Disneyland Paris, you know, on our days away. We've got Alton Towers around here. You know, we do nice things. We go to Comic-Con. I've got, you know, a car. I've got the house. We don't have any debt. So I don't need to sell these. And I don't think I ever will. And that's why I don't look at the value of things. I've got all these Funko Pops and all these figures. I've got an attic full of, you know, Pound Puppies and, you know, Rainbow Bright, Power Rangers, wrestling. And I'm afraid that if I ever Google what things are actually worth, I'd be tempted to sell them. And I don't want to, because I love all this stuff so much. So yeah, those mean the world to me. And it's just mad that, like, how is one Funko Pop worth, you know, £2-3 and another Funko Pop's worth hundreds of pounds? I don't get it. Moving on. Nostalgia is what I am about. That's what the channel's about. Nostalgia is a nostalgic look through the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s at my childhood. And I could order stuff, Amazon, you know, whatever I want. But there's something to be said for going out there to charity shops, car boots, and finding things in the wild. And you can't beat that nostalgic feel when you find something like an original plush from Space Jam. This guy's one of the Monstars from Moron Mountain. Space Jam, I watched it on repeat as a kid on VHS. And things like finding original Monstars from Space Jam. And this one, I was obsessed with Simpsons as a kid. I've got a whole Simpsons shelf here, as you can see. But I had this book when I was 4 or 5. And this was back before Disney Plus and you had all the Simpsons. You could rent the VHSs from the local video store, and they'd had 2 episodes on, like Bart the General, when it was the first series. And I had this book when I was a kid. And I love this book. I used to read it all the time. It's actually Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, the book. And the fact that I managed to find this in a charity shop for 50p all those years later, and it still smells like the book I had as a kid. You know, we all crave nostalgia. That's why you watch our channel. That's why you watch other channels. But there's no better feeling than that, you know, finding something that you cherished as a child. This is a 50p book. It means nothing to anybody else. But to me, it means the world. This takes me back to 1994, 1993. You know, my mum putting me to bed and then turning the light on and sitting up reading these books. That's why I do this. This is why I don't just order stuff off Amazon. I need to find the original stuff from 90s. Like I said, getting a bit emotional. Woo. Keeping with the Simpsons as well. This one is stupid, but I love it. When I worked in an office for a cinema chain, and I had all these things on my desk before I did the channel. I started doing nostalgia during lockdown. Back when I had my desk in the office, it was filled with shit like this. And a friend of mine knew that I love Simpsons, so he came along and he must have got an old DVD out the case and printed this off, and he got me Lee Carvello's putting challenge to have on my desk. And like I said, it's little bits like that. Little bits that 1% of you out there will know what Lee Carvello's putting challenge is. How disappointed Bart was when he didn't get Bone Storm. The episode where he steals a copy of Bone Storm from the shopping centre. 1% of you watching this will know what Lee Carvello's putting challenge is. But I could have hundreds of pounds worth of stuff, but somebody making that effort to make me a Lee Carvello's putting challenge, that's the world to me. I mean, this one is what draws everybody's eye. Anytime I do a video in here in my office / bedroom, and I do a video in front of this display, everybody's eye is drawn to the Turbo Man. Now, when I saw Jingle All the Way in the cinema in 1997, I would have been 8 or 9. And they didn't even have Turbo Man released. You could go to Toys R Us, go to Littlewoods, go to Woolworths. They wouldn't have had a Turbo Man. But I always wanted one. And the fact that, like, now I'm an adult and I can't have whatever I want. But when I saw that they were actually making the Turbo Man dolls, and then I found out that no, they weren't being released here in Britain. So I had to order one from Target in America and get it sent over. And this cost more than everything else in this collection, my Star Wars collection. I don't want to tell you how much I spent on this Turbo Man, because I'm a bit ashamed of how much I spent on this Turbo Man. But I had to have it. The fact is, it's Turbo Man. And it is a big piece, and it is the one thing that people's eyes are drawn to on my display. And I don't regret spending that amount of money and making that much effort for something that I have always wanted as a kid. If there's something out there when you were 6, 7, 8, you're an adult now. Nobody can tell you no. Save up for a couple of months. Go buy it. I mean, speaking of, me and my wife don't agree on much. We're completely different people. I think that's what makes a great relationship. I love trash TV. I love Gogglebox. I love, you know, Britain's Got Talent. I watch shite TV. She watches things like Making a Murderer and Jeffrey Dahmer. That's not me. Same thing with, like, I watch films and play computer games. She reads books. But the one thing we do have in common is Fifth Element. It is our favourite film. And the fact that when we were at a Comic-Con, I spotted this Lulu Dallas multipass. I had to buy it for her. It's physical. Like I said, it's the Floston Paradise winner on there. I bought it for her. It was the first Comic-Con we ever went to as a couple before the kids, after I first met her. And that's how you know somebody's a keeper. You know, we're all nerds. You know, I'm a nerd for computer games, Power Rangers, wrestling, Star Wars. She's a nerd for books and things like that. But if you're passionate about something, you know, and you find somebody else who's that passionate and loves something, is not ashamed to come out of the shell and share that, that's when you know you've got somebody special, and marry them straight away. I love my wife, and yeah, Fifth Element is our favourite film to watch together. I bought this for her, and then I've nicked it for my display here. So yeah, little schmaltzy, but yeah, something that me and my wife combine over. I mean, another thing that we both love is Hocus Pocus, and we have our black flame candle. You know, Hocus Pocus is a staple in our house. It's one of those films that is so special. We only watch it once a year on Halloween. You can overwatch things, and if you watch it and watch it and watch it, you end up falling out of love with it. So Hocus Pocus, we only watch on Halloween, but we have our black flame candle. Don't want to get too rude on here, but yes, me and my wife are far from virgins, so I think we can light this without summoning the Sanderson sisters. Yeah, a bit smutty there. Sorry, folks. Yeah, me and my wife, you know, I'm in my late 30s, she's in her early 40s. We're not virgins. Doctor Who is a massive part of my life. I love Doctor Who. I never watched it as a kid. It wasn't until I was away at college and Christopher Eccleston brought it back, I fell in love with it. Doctor Who, Sarah Jane, Torchwood. If you've been watching the Nostalgia channel, I have started chipping in with some Doctor Who bits, like in Ncuti Gatwa, obviously giving his notice at the end of the second series, who can be the next Doctor. I did a little bit on Torchwood. I love Doctor Who. And bit controversial, but the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, is my favourite Doctor. Maybe tied with Christopher Eccleston. But you'll never find... That's the thing with Doctor Who. It's one of the biggest shows the UK has ever produced. But there isn't that much merchandise. There was when it was David Tennant. You had all those figures that were in Woolworths and things like that. But there really isn't that much Doctor Who stuff. You know, you don't see... I mean, I've got Jodie Whittaker up here on display. There's Jodie. I love Jodie Whittaker as well. But yeah, you don't see that much Doctor Who stuff. So when I saw my 11th Doctor, I had to get him. He's massive. He's got interchangeable heads. He's never been out of the TARDIS. He's never ventured out of his TARDIS. But speaking of TARDISes, this one is special. Now, like I said, when you go to Comic-Cons, you know, you meet your heroes, you meet your idols. I've got a whole collection of Doctor Who Funko Pops here. But obviously I've got my TARDIS. And when I was first meeting Doctors at Comic-Cons, I was like, what do I get signed? Do I, for instance, take Captain Jack and get Captain Jack signed by John Barrowman? Do I take the 10th Doctor and get him signed by David Tennant? And then I had the idea, what if I took my TARDIS and I got it signed by as many Doctors as possible? And that's what I've done so far. So far, I've got 4 Doctors to sign it. I've got David Tennant, Matt Smith. I love fact Sylvester McCoy took the front here, and I'm going to try and put it on. I don't know if you can see it, but he spelt my name with a J instead of a G. Obviously, Jed is G-E-D. That's why it's Nostalgia, like nostalgia, but my name. But he signed it with a J. And I walked away, I was like, shit, he signed it with a J. I mean, it's Sylvester McCoy. The man is getting on in years. The man's an icon. But then I was like, you know what? Makes it even more special. It shows that all these people are human. But yeah, I love this TARDIS. Eventually, I want to get as many doctors on here as possible. Right now, I've got 4 doctors who sign my TARDIS. The thing is, when you go to Doctor Who is massive in the UK. It's big in America and big in Canada and places like that. But in the UK, it is a staple. And if you go to one of the bigger Comic Cons like Birmingham or Manchester or Cardiff or London, you're talking £100 to get, say, Christopher Eccleston or David Tennant or Matt Smith or Billy Piper. So yeah, it's not... I will get every Doctor on here eventually. It's my life's mission. But yeah, it's a case of money. And when we go to Comic Cons, I have to be selective. Now, going to finish with a treasure hunt find. Not from me. It was, like I said, it was my birthday last week. And my wife picked me up this. Now, those of you that know that love me, I've just had a Mario tattoo for my birthday, a big leg piece. I can't walk at the minute, my calf is knackered, but I love it. Go on Facebook on Nostalgiad, I showed it off on there. But my wife got me my tattoo for my birthday and this Japanese Super Mario World advert poster from Japan. Super Famicom, obviously, we know it as the SNES here in the UK. Super Mario World, not to spoil it, because I've got a top 10 favourite Mario games on the channel. Go watch it by all means. But Super Mario World is my Mario. I had the NES with my brothers as a kid. I love Super Mario 3. I love the original one. I love Super Mario Kart. I still play it on the Switch. But Super Mario World, the SNES was the first console I owned, just me. And I love Super Mario World. It's my thing. It's my jam. And my wife got me this from Japan. So again, you know, when you find a partner who is not just loves you, but also takes the effort to get involved with the things that you love. The fact that I have all this shit in our living room and our bedroom and my office, and I know it annoys her, but she loves me that much that she contributes. She buys me things like Turbo Man and Doctor Who and Star Wars and Mario. That's what a partnership is about. So I love you, Emma. You're my best friend. So yeah, getting a bit schmaltzy, but yeah, this is where I'm going to end it, because we will be going back to treasure hunts. Now, a couple of you have sent stuff in previously. If you want to do that, if you're out at a charity shop, if you're at a car boot and you see something for 50p, a quid, and you think that'd be great on Nostalgiad's display, by all means, go to Facebook, drop us a message on Messenger, email us nostalgia@gmail.com. Great, I'll pay for the postage, all that stuff. But don't go out your way, don't spend a lot of money on us, because as you can see, after the renovation of the house, I'm downsizing. And like I said, I've sent a couple of stuff to a fellow YouTubers where I know they'll be appreciated. So yeah, I'm going to finish there. Guys, I don't know what the message is today because this was put together. I've literally just come back from the gym. That's why my hair's still wet, because I've just stepped out of the sauna. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back with another treasure hunt video. And thank you, by the way. We just reached 400 subscribers. Let's push on. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to it. We're obviously a nostalgia-based channel that talk about all things 80s, 90s and early 2000s. So please join us. And also, happy anniversary. It was 4 years last week that we had our first ever video for Nostalgia, just during lockdown, where I interviewed Connie Moreau from Mighty Ducks. So yeah, we've just reached 4 years and we've just reached 400 subscribers. So yeah, I love this channel. I love doing this, and I love that you all get involved and you take the time to listen to me chatting shit. So yeah, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.